Conversation about controversy is the only way to even approach consensus. Marc Lamont Hill, host of Upfront on Al Jazeera, Harvard law professor, author of War Against the Jews, How to End Hamas Barbarism, Alan Dershowitz. Thank you both. 2 points of consideration. First one, and I'll start with you, Marc, the idea of a deal. UN says, give back all the hostages, pause, aid, et cetera, et cetera. Hamas says, we'll give you some, not all. Do you believe that's the right response? And two, do you believe they have all the hostages?
It's hard to know whether they have all of the hostages. I know there have been claims earlier that some of the bombing from Israel has caused some civilian casualties in terms of the hostages. That's not to excuse hostage taking, but it certainly would explain the loss of some hostages. But I want to be clear here in terms of our time frame and our chronology that it's not simply that that Hamas has not responded to the UN's call. Before that UN call, the UN also called for Israel to stop all bombing. They called for a ceasefire. They called for other measures that would stop the gross violations of international law and the extraordinary war crimes that have been committed by the state of Israel, in addition to what Hamas has done. And Israel has yet to do so. So if there's going to be any deal, we need a full stop of violence. We need a return of hostages, I do agree, but we need much more than that.
Right. But it's got to start, Professor Dershowitz, with returning all the hostages. I understand the point about leverage, but my bigger concern is that they don't have them, that they farmed them out to other groups that have taken them to other places, and that's why they can't deliver all of them. And do you think Israel will do any kind of real deal other than marginal humanitarian aid, which frankly won't be enough, until the hostages are returned in full?
The problem and the virtue of any great democracy is the leadership of the country has to listen to the people. The people want the hostages back. It would have been much better if they had a policy right from the beginning. No negotiations with terrorists, period, ever, under any circumstances. Yes, hostages would die and people would be kept as hostages, but there'd be less of an incentive to take hostages. It was a mistake right from the beginning for the United States, for Israel, for Europe to negotiate with terrorists. But they have, and they've gone down that line. And now the people of Israel are demanding return of as many hostages as possible. So yes, a deal will be made. There'll be less than the total number of 200. Hopefully it will be higher than 50 or 60. And in exchange, there'll be a negotiated cease of firing without calling it a ceasefire. I want to answer Marc, though, about the UN. What the UN says is utterly irrelevant to morality, to law, and to decency. As Abi Ibn once said, if Algeria introduced a resolution that the earth was flat and that Israel flattened it, it would win 120 to 73 with 34 abstentions. And you can count those numbers and identify who they are right away. So ignore the United Nations, ignore the human rights.
Wow.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Ignore the UN.
United Nations.
Go ahead, Professor. Professor, let Marc get in on that point, and then I got a second proposition. Marc.
I just want to point out a couple of things. One, Alan is celebrating Israel, which he's calling a democracy. Obviously, I would disagree that it's a democracy given the millions of Palestinians who are denied full citizenship, full rights, full human freedom. But that point aside, the idea that he's celebrating them for not just bombing Gaza relentlessly and adhering to some democratic principle, to me, is a very low bar. And even to that extent, Israel has violated international law. And yes, the UN does matter. Because when Alan appeals to the 1947 UN partition agreement to legitimize Israel's existence, he certainly believes in the UN. But if we don't look at the UN, we could look at the International Committee of the Red Cross. We could look at Amnesty International. We could look at Human Rights Watch. They all have said that Israel's actions are a contravention of international law. The bombing of the Jabalia refugee camp, the bombing of Al-Shifa Hospital, the bombing of El Ahli Hospital, the bombing of numerous hospitals, numerous civilian targets, numerous cultural targets, mosques, churches, are all gross contraventions of international law, and Israel has not met the standard to demonstrate that a hospital like Al-Shifa should be bombed. Instead, they have violated international law. And when you talk about decency and law and what is correct and what is just basic human instinct, the general global consensus is that Israel has gone way too far in its response to October 7th, which, again, I can acknowledge is an awful act and also a war crime.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.